It's time for week 8, boys and girls. What's up? How are you? He is Andrew Erickson. I am Matt Perrault, and we are live on the Betting Pros YouTube channel where we get to break down the slate for week number 8. Erickson, this is an interesting week. We've got 6 teams on buys. We've got injuries. We got backup quarterbacks. It's ugly out there, but how are you on this Sunday morning?
I'm doing good. I am the man of the house today because my wife is actually at the Patriots-Browns game, so I'm hanging out here just placing bets. Going to be tons of fun, so ready to break it down.
Going back into the solo days, going back into the bachelor days. All right. Look, I think when we start breaking these games down, I mean, we have 6 teams that are not playing today, so we don't have an international day. We don't have 2 games on Monday Night Football, so it does create kind of a weirder, stranger week. When you stare at the board, what pops out at me is just the numbers and how big some of these numbers are. Let's begin with the Bengals at home against the Jets. The number opened at 2.5. Now it's 5.5 after Tyrod Taylor gets put in as the quarterback. Justin Fields gets put in the quarterback. Tyrod Taylor is out in this game for the Jets. Pro money, once it's hit 6, Andrew, the pros are taking the Jets. This is a pros versus Joes game. The public believes that it's Joe Flacco and T. Higgins and Jamar Chase and take Cincy. The professionals are taking the points and saying Jets plus 6, let's go. Where are you on this rather ugly football game?
Can I borrow that pencil you got, Peralt? I'm just going to scratch this one out. Easy. This one's an easy avoid for me. Because I totally understand the two sides of the argument where the public saw what Flacco did on a primetime Thursday night game against the Steelers. Everyone loves Joe Flacco. And then the public hates the Jets, but the sharp money's coming on the Jets because I just think that this number was too large. And that's why you saw it get down from 6.5 to 5.5. You have quarterback. Now Fields is playing. It's not Tyrod Taylor anymore. So there's too many question marks for me, to be honest. I just a game that I really had no interest in wagering on.
Some breaking news with the Jets. Nick Mangold passed away today at the age of 41 due to complications from a kidney disease. So that's horrible news for the New York Jets right before kickoff to make that announcement that they lost one of their, Mangold, I'm old enough to remember that guy was a legend for the Jets and their offensive line. That was the Mark Sanchez Jets, right? When Nick Mangold played?
Yep. And I also believe that Nick Mangold, I think it was his sister, was like an Olympic weightlifter as well.
Wow.
So there's definitely an athletic gene that ran in the Mangold family. And that's really tough to see. You never want to see these players pass away. This early, I know we had last week, Doug Martin, passed away, the running back for the Buccaneers.
Right.
Just really sad.
Yeah, 41 years old, Nick Mangold. Wow. So thoughts to his family and Jet fans. That's a brutal thing to see first thing in the morning. First thing here out of the gates for the Jets. But the one thing I think it's interesting to look at the Bengals, and I want to get your take on this. I like the Steelers. I'm on the Steelers, but let's just play it out. Steelers lose tonight on Sunday Night Football, okay? They go to 4-3. I do think the Bengals win today. So, I'm toying with the idea of using the Bengals in a money line parlay, and I'll get to the other side of it in a second. But I think you probably could take the Bengals to win at home with Joe Flacco today. They would be a half a game behind the Steelers if that situation unfolds. Can you see the Bengals winning the division if Joe Burrow comes back in December and has, say, 4 to 5 weeks to play with this team? Are the Bengals live is my question for maybe some noise here in the playoffs?
Man, my Bengals Super Bowl ticket really hopes that Joe Burrow can end up coming back here at some point. So, I would be ecstatic for that. I was ready to cash that thing out after Joe Burrow got hurt, but I held on and maybe, the AFC North. Another week without Lamar Jackson. What are the Ravens going to end up doing today? I know they're still favorites against the Chicago Bears, but that line has obviously dropped significantly from 6.5 to 2.5. So, it seemed like the Bengals were dead on arrival, but now it seems like maybe there is a shot that Joe Burrow does return and can get this team maybe into the playoffs.
Just for references, guys, the Bengals are plus 350 to win the division. There's a lot of value in that. If you look at the schedule for the Bengals and the schedule for the Steelers, again, if I was going to bet it, I'd bet it today, because if Pittsburgh loses tonight to the Packers, now the race is really on. And I don't really understand why the Ravens are only plus 170 to win the division. That is, I know everyone's waiting for the Ravens to do something, but I think that bus is not coming, guys. That bus is not going to arrive anytime soon, at least in my world, when it comes to where this Ravens team is. And now they're being investigated, for how do you, in the fantasy world, how do you guys perceive what the hell just went down with Lamar Jackson in the injury report on Friday?
I mean, it's just a lot of false reporting where they're saying that he's practicing in full, but then we get a report that he's practicing with the scout team and not with the starting team. So that influences people's decisions. Usually it's more in the gambling world where it's affected because you have people that bet on the Ravens before Lamar Jackson was out, and you have people sitting on Ravens -6.5 tickets at -110, and you feel terrible about having that type of bet, having that card. But I know that you and Fitz talked about, hey, just grab the Bears now. Like, it could only work in the Bears' favor from here on out. So I think that was really sharp of you guys to be on that earlier in the week. But it hurts people in fantasy because there are people that started certain players on Thursday night based on the fact that they thought they were going to have Lamar Jackson, and now they don't have Lamar Jackson. So it's just really frustrating. We just want transparency, right? Like, you just want to know who's playing in the game so we can make the best decisions at the time. So I get that it's always a risk with some injuries, but it just seemed like they were very skewing positive towards Lamar playing when it was clear, like, okay, well, he wasn't going to play this entire time.
I think there's a frustration, like we can talk about the Bears and the Ravens now, because the number is interesting, obviously, because Lamar Jackson playing would have impacted this dramatically. It was 6.5. We're down to 2.5 or 3. Here in Vegas, it's 3 even money. On the quote unquote public books, the square books, we're already under 3. So Chicago is the side for the public and the pros here when it comes to this. But we are in a week where we're obviously dealing with a lot of off the field conversations. And now we have an investigation going into whether or not Lamar Jackson was supposed to play in this game. He was a quote full participant on Friday. Well, now we're finding out that he wasn't. He was just running with the scout team. So did the team know beforehand and just they were kind of playing possum with this and not letting everybody know about Lamar Jackson? I don't know. If you're the Ravens and you lose a 6th-round draft pick or you get hammered with like $100,000 fine, do you care if that's what happens to you?
I mean, I think the only thing that matters is if they win or not.
Right.
Like, because if they're trying to get a competitive edge where the Bears are preparing for Lamar Jackson and then they get Snoop Huntley instead, okay, I guess like that works against the Bears in some capacity. But yeah, ultimately all the Ravens care about is winning and not being 1-6. Yeah. By the time 4:30 rolls around,
this is an absolute no play game for me. I want nothing to do with the Browns. Sorry, with the Bears and the Ravens. I am on the over for San Francisco and Houston, and the under money keeps coming in here. We're at 41 at the Superbook. We're at 41 at Circa. We're 41.5 at FanDuel. 41.5 at DraftKings. Look, I think the short week for both these teams. I think tired legs comes into play here. I like that it's Mac Jones. I do think this offense for the Texans will be able to move the football and score here. I'm surprised at how everyone's in love with the under between these two teams, but you have a feel for, the side. You like the Texans or the 49ers today?
I think that I had the slight lean towards the 49ers just because the Texans have been really, really bad when they're playing without a rest advantage. Like,
right.
I believe, they failed to cover the spread in each of their last 11 games when they're playing with a rest disadvantage. And then CJ Stroud, just since he became the starting quarterback for the Texans, like, he's been overrated against the spread, right? Like, he's like always been hyped up by the public as this amazing quarterback. And when you just look at how games have actually played out, the Texans don't kill anybody except that they're playing backups on the Ravens or the Tennessee Titans. So I think that this game will be close. I think it will be lower scoring. And the only reason I can't get behind the over is just no Nico Collins, right? Like, he's like the one most explosive player they have on offense. And if they don't have him, it's a bunch of rookie wide receivers, Dalton Schultz. Like, my favorite bet in this game is Dalton Schultz over receptions because he plays tight end. He catches a bunch of dump offs from Stroud because he has no time to throw the football. And if you look at the 49ers, the last 2 games without Fred Warner, just absolutely eviscerated by tight ends. Kyle Pitts had like a monster game against the 49ers last week because there was no Fred Warner, and he is their tight end eraser. So for me, Dalton Schultz over 5.5 receptions, which is like plus money. It was originally at 4.5, got bet up, but you're getting a bigger payout now. And I just think that he's going to get peppered with underneath targets. So that's kind of my play on this game.
Yeah, and it's tight end day, so obviously there's going to be some narrative there around tight ends here. I agree with you. I think the same thing with the Cowboys against the Broncos. We can get into that game here in a little bit, but I like tight ends today too on this one. I think that Houston wins the game, but I don't know if Houston covers 3 or it's just a push. I think 3 is the right number, and I think San Francisco is going to be in the game, but I think it's going to be like a 24-20 type football game. I think it's going to be tight, and I would expect some turnovers with both sides. Mac Jones to throw a pick, CJ Stroud to throw a pick, strip sack types fumbles. I mean, the number that I referenced on the juice was that teams over the last 3 seasons, when they're both coming off night games the week prior, the over is hitting at a 65% clip, going over by over 7 points. So tired teams, just not really sharp, make mistakes. You allow, special teams touchdowns. You allow things to happen that normally you probably wouldn't allow happen if you were mentally sharp. So I think physically and mentally, both these teams, I think, might be a little bit sleepy, and that could lead to points or a 10-7 football game. I mean, I get the move on the under. I'm just going to fade that and take the over, thinking we're going to see some points here with Kyle Shanahan and company. I like Mac Jones. I think Mac Jones has played really well. He's thrown 6 touchdown passes so far this season. He's looked like a guy that they're not rushing Brock Purdy back for a reason. I think they're like, hey, Brock, take your time. Like, you can take as much weeks as you want. We like Mac Jones running our offense. So I think he'll put some points up against a pretty stout Texans defense. All right, game number 3. Let's get into, or 4 rather. Miami in Atlanta. We've already heard that Drake London is out. We know that this is now the return of Kirk Cousins. We have a Miami team that's a complete dumpster fire. And what's interesting is the market likes Atlanta. They've gone from 5.5 to 7, and we're pretty much cemented. There's ESPN bets at 7.5. They're the only ones over that, but FanDuel's down at 6.5. Everybody else is at 7 here for this one. I can't play this. This is a really popular Survivor pick. In the Circus Survivor, it's the second most popular pick to take the Falcons. I want no part of this game. I can't figure out why people are taking Atlanta. Do you?
Because they're playing at home and they're playing the Dolphins. It's really like, it's less that people are picking my Atlanta and it's pick against Miami. I think is really the mindset. And I think the process wise, this usually ends up being bad bets when you're just betting against one team. And I don't care who the other team is. Cause like, what if it was like Atlanta -10? It's like, well, I'm just going to bet against the Dolphins, like blindly just bet against the Dolphins. But I don't like the spot when you're picking sides, because I do think that when you look at Miami, their biggest issue is defense, right? Yes. Tua turns the ball over, like it's turnovers and defense, but they can still move the football effectively. And we saw the Falcons last week get absolutely run over by the 49ers without Devon Diablo, the linebacker. He's out of this game again. So he's going to miss another week. And Achane on the fast track indoors. I mean, Miami still has speed, and that's the one thing they can do on offense. So I actually like the over in this game, going over 44.5. I don't know how the Falcons or the Miami Dolphins defense is going to stop Bijan. Like, he's going to rush for 100, 200 yards. I mean, a ton of yardage. And Kirk Cousins, I mean, this dude wants to be a starting quarterback. So I think that he is a message to send. I don't think that he's going to lay down like, oh, I'll just hand the ball off. Like, no, like I want to throw touchdowns in this game. And against the Dolphins, who you can attack them in any way you want, whether it's through the air, whether it's through the ground. So I think Kirk Cousins, like, I want to put up 30, 35 points if I can. So I actually like the game total over. So I think there's a lot of talent on both sides. It's in a dome, and that's where Tua usually tends to play a little bit better when he's not outdoors, inside. So I actually like the over in this game.
To give you an idea of what the books are anticipating here, Bijan Robinson is -250 for an anytime touchdown today.
Yeah, I think the move with that is, and Joe always talks about this on our shows, is just do the first half bet plus 100. First half for Bijan to score a touchdown. Because if he's going to score, it's probably going to be the first half anyway. So you turn that into a plus-sized bet. That's a good way to approach it.
Yeah, those are non-Vegas markets you guys talk about. Nobody in Vegas puts up those markets. Vegas isn't dumb enough to put up a market like that. That's a stupid market. And realistically, the amount of money you would get down on that here in Vegas would be very little. Like the Vegas would not know part of that. Like no one's doing first half touchdown scoring markets. Maybe Caesars here in town would have that, because Caesars now has linked together their non-Vegas books and their Vegas books. So that might be the one that might have that market up, but that's one of those markets that us here in Vegas, we're like, where are you guys finding that? Like that's stuff that we don't get access to. We can't bet that stuff here, unfortunately. But yeah, I think it's probably, I mean, first touchdown for Bijan is plus 260. But the problem with that is that if the other team scores first, you lose that bet. So for a first half touchdowns, not a bad play. Bijan's getting the football.
Yeah.
When they go in the red zone, they're going to give it to Robinson for sure. Okay. This is the other side of if I took a Bengals money line or I pulled the Bengals down to basically pick against the Jets. The other side would be the Bills on the road against Carolina. It's Andy Dalton. Josh Allen is 7-0 in his career off of 2 straight losses. Why is this number 7? The only thing that's giving me pause is why in the hell is this not more? This number should be heavier than it is. I smell a rat. Why is this 7, Andrew? This feels like it's too light.
I think it's 7 because I do think that there's some respect with Carolina, given that they play significantly better at home than they do on the road. Like Bryce Young can't. I mean, it's not Bryce Young starting, but
right. That's what I mean.
Whenever
Bryce Young.
when the Panthers play on the road, they just play like a completely different team,
Yep.
And that's been kind of the theme with Canales. And the one thing that they can do effectively on offense is run the football, and that's the thing that the Bills have been not able to stop, like throughout the McDermott era. To be totally honest, and especially this year, they've allowed the most rushes of 10+ yards this season. So, I mean, Matt Milano is out again. They don't have Daquan Jones, or defensive tackle. Ed Oliver came back he missed a couple games earlier in the year, and they are getting back some guys from suspension. So that's like kind of like an under the radar type of transaction that I don't think a lot of people have talked about just because they were off the radar. But the Bills beefed up the D-line during the free agency period. And then those guys immediately got suspended for 6 weeks. So they have been non-factors, but they'll be back for this game. So maybe that does hinder the Panthers running attack a little bit. But I mean, I think that Dalton could potentially raise this offense for the Carolina Panthers. I think for me, my bet in this game was just the game total going over because I like Buffalo's offense bouncing back here against Carolina. And I just want to give some credit to the Panthers and how they match up against Buffalo's defense and think, hey, they can move the ball effectively here too. So 46.5 points. This is one of my best bets is going over on the Bills and Panthers.
So there's 2 ways of playing it. If you take the money line angle at FanDuel, it would be minus 144 for a Bills money line, Bengals money line. If you tease it down, you're going to pay anywhere from like 125 to 140. And I guess technically it's 7.5. You got to go find a 7 for the Bills. So you pull that down and the Bills potentially could wind up being, 1.5. And I guess if they win by 1, you would lose that bet. I mean, look what happened last week with the Broncos. So you got to be a little careful with that 1.5. But if the Bills win, do the Bills cover?
Not 7.5. I think they'll probably win by. I think it's probably more like a touch. So I wouldn't touch the 7.5.
Yeah, I think it's tough, right? I don't think I'd tough it. I mean, I smell a rat. Something doesn't smell right. I think the Bills win. So I think probably a money line parlay, Bills and the Bengals. I like. You could do a teaser as well with Bills and Bengals if you want. Just be careful. I might pay a little extra and go 6.5 if I'm going to tease it versus money line, just because I don't think I want to be playing around with when we got burned last week with that. So just a heads up, on that one. But I like Bills and the Bengals both to win today. The Giants and the Eagles. This is one half of my teaser that I've already placed. Took the Eagles from 7 down to 1. I think they win. I'm not sure if they blow out the Giants, but Andrew, I can't see the Giants going 2-0 against the Eagles this year. Can you?
No, I think that your exact play on teasing this game as a money line parlay is the exact way you want to play. Just avoiding, again, you have another 7.5 situation. And you also have the Eagles playing without some offensive key players. They're down another offensive lineman. So I think the running game is going to continue to struggle because this offensive line is just not opening up hole for Saquon Barkley. But I think they still have this vendetta of no, we want to get Saquon Barkley going, even though it's not working like it did last year. So I think that this is more of a lower scoring game, to be honest, because now it's the Giants on the road where we've seen Dart play not as significantly great as he's played at home. And this Eagles defense will have Jalen Carter, who didn't play the last time these teams played each other. And they will have Quinyon Mitchell, who didn't play the entire game. So I think that this, especially at 44, I really like the under in this game. And although I couldn't find any facts to back it up, I do get the feeling that we see divisional games in the rematches sometimes are less scoring. It's not as high scoring as the first time. Now, especially in this type of divisional matchup, I like the under in this game.
Yeah, there's not a lot of. I'm trying to find some stats for you to back this up on this, but
I couldn't find anything specifically. It's really more intuitively like I've thought about it. Where
no, here you go. In the Giants-Eagles game 2 weeks ago, it was 51, about 10 points over the closing total. In the last 15 meetings between the Eagles and the Giants, the under is 10-5 in the series. So it's been an under series, high scoring first matchup, but it was in New York, and that's where Jackson Dart plays much better. This is at the Link, much more difficult environment for him to walk into. He has lost every game on the road so far. He's 2-0 at home, 0-2 on the road. I think Jackson Dart is going to get held in by this Eagles defense. As you mentioned Carter playing, I think his rushing total is too high. I'm going under 41.5 yards rushing for Jackson Dart. I think he may wind up picking up a couple of first downs, but I think the Eagles defense is going to key in on him knowing, okay, there's no Malik Neighbors. What do they want to do? Look at the way they beat the Broncos. That was mostly the running game. Scatterboo is an awesome story, and he's fun in the red zone and whatnot. And the new grill, sure, whatever you want to do, guy, spend your money. But I just think Jackson Dart, I think the Eagles are going to say, we're not going to let the quarterback beat us. Like, we're not going to let the quarterback get loose and beat us. Someone else is going to have to run the football for the Giants. It's not going to be Jackson Dart. So I'm going to bet, I'm going to go under 41.5. The prop bet cheat sheet likes that as well with that coming under. So I'm going under on the rushing total for Jackson Dart coming up here for today. And the other half of my teaser is the shirt you're wearing and where your wife is currently. Patriots against the Browns. Again, this number, very much like the Bills number, I'm going, why isn't this number more? Well, I think the Browns are live. If you look at the professional money, this is a pros versus Joes game. Public, all over the Patriots. But there are some really negative trends about teams that did not make the playoffs last year who have won and covered 4 straight weeks. In that 5th game, they tend to fall on their face. And I don't see New England losing this game here today, Andrew, but I think this is going to be a tighter football game and a more difficult game than people anticipate. Where are you on Patriots Browns?
I like the Patriots covering the touchdown spread.
Ooh,
I'm
okay.
not, and it's for a couple of reasons, because the Browns offense is one-dimensional. It's give the ball to Quinshon Judkins and hope that it works out. Right. Yep. Like they're not throwing the ball with Dylan Gabriel, who is a rookie quarterback making another start on the road where he is 0-2 against the spread. Like, he has not covered a game away from Cleveland this year. And Cleveland's defense is not the same unit that it plays away from Cleveland. Like, they play significantly worse. And this has been a trend over the last couple seasons where even if it's Myles Garrett and they have their main guys, they still play significantly worse. So they've allowed 21 or more points in all 3 road games this season, and they're 0-4 against the spread on the road. They've lost all their true road games, so excluding the one that they play internationally, by double-digit points. So this great Browns defense, they're getting blown out on the road every single game that they play. So I'm taking the Patriots. Like, they can attack this offense. Yes, the Browns are really good against the run. Well, if that means more dropbacks for Drake May, great, please. Like, we don't need to see more carries from Ramondre Stevenson, because that's how they lose this game, is Stevenson fumbles the ball in the red zone, gives Dylan Gabriel short fields to win the game. Like, come on, keep the ball in Drake May's hands, and that's how you win this game, win it through the air. So I think that, I'm going to take the Patriots with the points.
To back you up, the numbers are stunning on the Browns, like stunning. The last time the Cleveland Browns won a football game in New England, I was a sophomore in high school. 1992 was the last time the Cleveland Browns went to Foxborough and got a W. Dylan Gabriel is the 6th different starting quarterback for the Browns to go to Foxborough to try to beat the Patriots. It's been a minute since Dylan Gabriel or since the Browns have done anything. The Browns, as an underdog of 6 points or more on the road, since 2014, they are 4-35 straight up. 4-35 against the number. They are 16-23. Outside the division, they are 0-18 straight up over their last 18 games. In fact, Cleveland has lost 21 consecutive road games as an underdog of 6 points or more, dating back to their win against the Vikings in 2013. That was Brian Hoyer against Christian Ponder. That was that game. So, yeah. It's been a second. So backing the Patriots today is not a bad idea. I just pulled it down just because I think the number should be more. I think it should be like 8.5 or 9, given the way Drake May has played. But okay, I'll just pull it down to 1 and take the Patriots with the Eagles combined on a teaser and pay the minus 125. I can't see the Eagles or the Patriots losing coming up here for today. Those are the games in the morning, but let me tell you about our friends at Hard Rock Bet. They're the presenting sponsor of our show here today. Week 8 wraps up with Washington at Kansas City. Listen to these streaks at the Hard Rock Bet Stats Hub. You can find live odds to bet on all these streaks in the Hard Rock Bet app. KC's on a 14-game winning streak as home favorites. Terry McLaurin has recorded 53 or more receiving yards in 7 straight October games. His total is at 47.5. Hollywood Brown has gone 5 Mondays in a row, recording 34 or more receiving yards. He's got just a 20.5 number tomorrow night. Deebo Samuel has scored a touchdown in 4 straight road games, and Washington has covered the spread in 4 consecutive games against the AFC West. They're 12-point dogs to KC tomorrow night. If you haven't placed your first bet at Hard Rock Bet, there's still time to do so to get $150 in bonus bets if you win. Just place a $5 bet, and if it hits, you not only get your winnings, but $150 in bonus bets. Plus, tomorrow, the Hard Rock Bet, you can get a Monday night parlay boost for the game. There are new promos every day. Boost your same game parlay or your SGP max, so you bet pays extra. Check out the Hard Rock Bet Sportsbook app and make your first deposit today. Afternoon slate is interesting. I like the afternoon slate more than the morning slate. Tampa Bay against New Orleans. This is the pros versus Joes game of the day. Everyone publicly walking in and betting on Baker Mayfield like he's going to win this game by 100. The professionals are taking the points. They took 5.5. They took 4.5. They took 4. We're down to 3.5 now for New Orleans at home against one of their arch rivals. Baker Mayfield admitted this week he hates the Saints. He doesn't dislike them. He hates them. Who wins this game? Tampa Bay or New Orleans?
Yeah, but if you ask Baker Mayfield, he would tell you that he's the underdog in this game because that's the way that he just plays. And I just like backing him. Look, he is absolutely lights out on the road. Like, it doesn't matter who the opponent is, doesn't matter what the spread is. Baker Mayfield, 16-6 against the spread on the road since 2023. That is the second best mark in the NFL. So 3.5 points against Spencer Rattler, who has won 1 NFL game in his NFL career and what is his record against the spread? 2-10 against the spread as an underdog. Sure, if you want to take Spencer Rattler and bet against Baker Mayfield, who, laid a turd against the Detroit Lions. But the Detroit Lions, again, when you're looking at some of these trends, it's when they go again head-to-head against each other, where the Lions, after a loss, are just so good against the spread. So even though Baker Mayfield was on the road last week, you think, okay, want to back Baker again? No, I like laying the points here with the Buccaneers even on the road, minus 3.5. This line opened up significantly higher for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, and money's been coming in on the Saints. So I just think this is a layup. This is one I do in the BettingPros Primer every week. I rank my bets based on like a star rating. I've won 5-star bet this week, and it's the Bucs minus 3.5.
How about that? The Bucs have outscored the Saints 78-46 in the 2 meetings prior with Spencer Rattler starting at quarterback for New Orleans. The over has hit in both matchups. Amazingly enough, Spencer Rattler has only faced 2 teams in the NFC South as a starter, and they're both have been the Bucs. So this is the 3rd time he will start a game against the division, all of them against Tampa. First 2 didn't go so well. They got blown out. Todd Bowles kind of has Spencer Rattler's number here to kind of back up you with this point. So I don't mind it. I'm gonna watch this game and look to bet it in game, but I think you're right. You're on the right side here. I would be very surprised if Tampa loses, even with the Mike Evans injury, even with the offensive line issues with Tampa. New Orleans is somewhat of a dumpster fire. The money is coming in on the Colts, amazingly enough. This is the number 1 survivor pick. If you have Indianapolis, everyone's taking Indianapolis. The number now is 15.5 at DraftKings. What? It is 15.5 at Circa. It's 15 at Superbook. So this is not just like the professionals or the public. This is the professionals coming in here and hammering the Colts. Tennessee have any shot of covering? They're not winning today, but any shot of covering in your mind, Andrew?
The dead cat bounce for the Titans lasted a quarter last week. They scored, and then it was just like ancient history. And we see this with teams, right? They usually regress back to how they were playing before after they fire their head coach. So we got a very, very small boost from Tennessee last week against the Patriots, and now you're just expecting more of the same from them, which has been basically nothing. So, I mean, unless you're going to get some weird turnover stuff, I know the Colts defense, especially their secondary, is not necessarily great. So Cam Ward's got to make some superhero throws. Like, that's kind of how you see this game playing out, where the Titans could cover the 14.5-point spread. When I was looking at this game, kind of handicapping, I said, bring Colts down to 6.5 to win, over 41.5. Jonathan Taylor anytime touchdown. That's minus 105. Like, do something along those lines if you're going to try to bet this game, because I don't want to lay over 2 touchdowns within a division game, even though the Colts are at home. But I think the Colts will at least win by a touchdown, so you get the 6.5. It's probably going to be at least over 41.5, because we know the Colts will put up 30, and the Titans, can they score 10 points, 15? Like, I think that they can do that, especially with the Colts secondary issues. And I mean, of course, Jonathan Taylor's going to score a touchdown unless he gets injured. Basically, is the only way I don't see him scoring a touchdown. So those 3 together in a single game parlay is minus 105.
So what's the third leg? JT, anytime touchdown, Colts money line. What's the third?
Or no, it's Colts minus 6.5. So win by
6.5.
touchdown. And then over the game total going over 41.5 points.
And that's what, minus 105, you said?
Yep.
That's not bad. That's a good way to approach this game. I like that. And yeah, unless JT gets hurt, it'd be hard to see him not score in this game, like multiple times.
Yeah. I mean, his odds to score 2 touchdowns, I think was listed at like plus 150. It's like absolutely ridiculous.
Touchdown props for, let's see, where are the touchdown props for this game? There it is. Jonathan Taylor to score a touchdown is minus 400 anytime touchdown. For him to score 2 or more touchdowns is plus 125 at FanDuel.
Yeah.
That's ridiculous. 2 touchdowns. I mean, but by comparison, Tyler Warren is 8-1. Tony Pollard is 13-1. To give you an idea as to what the books expect from anybody else except Jonathan Taylor to score in this game for the Indianapolis Colts. Guys, track your bets and get line alerts straight to your phone by downloading the BettingPros app with Sportsbook Sync. Automatically track your bets across all major sportsbooks in one spot and easily monitor your bet performance by sport and bet type, including picks, props, and parlays. Create custom betting systems to find winning trends and profitable opportunities. New users can get 6 months of BettingPros Premium for free with your first deposit and wager at one of our partner sportsbooks. To learn more, simply go to bettingpros.com/premium. All right, 2 games left on the slate. I have action on both. Dallas, Denver. Numbers 3.5. It has not moved. Open at 5. I think you're on Dallas too, right? I'm on Dallas plus 3.5. You like the Cowboys as well, right?
Yeah, Dallas was my upset pick, underdog pick of the week to not just cover, but to win outright. I mean, this Bo Nix fourth quarter magic's going to run out eventually, right? Like, they have been playing, they've been underwhelming significantly whenever they've been a favorite, which is way different than last year. 8-0 against the spread as a favorite last year, 1-4 against the spread as a favorite this year. So I think they're just like totally overvalued when you can bet on a quarterback that's playing on an MVP level. Just, okay, he's on the road and I get plus 3.5. So even if they lose by a field goal, I still end up cashing. I mean, the Broncos defense has been up and down, especially when they faced better offenses. I mean, Jackson Dart played well against them last week, and he had them winning that game had it not been for the collapse and Bo Nix was able to do in the fourth quarter. So, yeah, I get Dallas defense is terrible, but it's just a bet on Dak Prescott and a little of the Javonte Williams revenge game going against his old head coach, Sean Payton. So I think they find ways to get him into the end zone, and I'll just take the team with the better quarterback.
4 straight wins for Denver, but in the last 3, they've won them by a total of 7 points. This team is not dominating people, that they are needing fourth quarter comebacks to pull rabbits out of the hat. And I know everyone is looking at this Dallas defense and saying, okay, Diggs is out. I don't like the way the offense looks for this team, for the Broncos. And I know and look, Dallas is not very good, but just because Patrick Surtain in the pass rush is really good for Denver doesn't mean that Dallas Cowboys aren't going to have an answer with Jake Ferguson. I mean, I think Jake Ferguson has a huge game here today, over the middle, moving the sticks. And then when you start to collapse down on the tight end, you got 2 problems. I mean, you can say Surtain takes away one of the 2 wide receivers. Okay, which one? Lamb or Pickens? Because both are playing at an extremely high level. We know that Dak wants to throw the ball to Lamb, but Pickens has been tremendous after once Lamb went out. Pickens has shined. So I just think this Dallas offense travels on the road. I don't think it's going to be a pretty game, and I think it probably is going to be an underplay. I'm surprised we're at 51 from a total perspective. I would expect to be a little more in the because I don't think Denver can score. I don't care who they're playing against. I don't think they're scoring 30 points here today up against Dallas, but I'll take the points. We may win on the hook, but I think 3.5 matters here. I don't like 3, but I think the hook matters here with a tight football game between Denver and Dallas. And then finally, we go to Green Bay, Pittsburgh, Sunday Night Football, the Aaron Rodgers revenge game. But this has more to do with Mike Tomlin. You can call this the square dog of the day. You can call this the public play. Everyone's on it, fade it. Everyone thinks it's going to be an easy walk to the window. I don't care. I'm rolling with it here. You got a Mike Tomlin team that gave up a ton of points last week. I don't think that happens here again. It's Aaron Rodgers at home. Tomlin in primetime as a home dog is an absolute cash cow. Give me +3. Pittsburgh, Sunday night. Where are you?
Yeah, I'm on the Steelers. Every single trend that you could find is telling you to back Mike Tomlin, because it's like, after a big loss at home as an underdog with rested, like just checking off every single box. It's like, if you filter every single box, it's like, well, okay, like there's no way Mike Tomlin can't just cover this game, especially with it at plus. Yeah, so it's at +3. So yeah, I think the Steelers is definitely the play here. And even on to make the counter argument against the Packers, 0-5 against the spread their last 5 road games. Like, they just really haven't been covering. The Packers look to me, and maybe this is more like a futures play, but they look like a team that's still trying to find exactly what their identity is. Like, they haven't been blowing teams out. They haven't been covering these larger spreads. They've been finding ways to win, which is a sign of a good team. Now, is this where they start to get going? Maybe. And maybe that's something what we'll see from the Packers in the playoffs later on in the year if they start to get hot, because they're definitely not peaking right now. Like, that's definitely not the case with the Packers. So maybe this is the launch pad, and that's how we end up losing this bet with the Steelers. But regardless, I think this is just the process says, hey, you got to bet on the Steelers here.
Yeah, and I think if you want to go, I mean, one trend that I used to bet was the fact that Tomlin's 12-3 ATS as a home dog off of a straight up loss. So it's just the next week when Tomlin loses and then the team's expected to be bad or not perform well the following week, Tomlin teams get up. On Sunday Night Football, Tomlin's been very good. At night, on Sunday, Monday, Tomlin has been very good. It's Thursday night in which he sucks. So, I mean, when he's on Thursday night, fade the Steelers, but back them when they're on Sunday and Monday. There really isn't a trend to prove to take this Packers team, and that's why everyone's on the Steelers. And sometimes it's just, you can't do anything about it. You just say, okay, tip your cap and move on if you're the book, because it's just going to happen this way. And you can put up a number that you think that will entice the professionals to lay it. But I mean, I like the Steelers to win the game personally outright. And like we talked about, if the Bengals win, this becomes a very big game all of a sudden for the Steelers, because if they lose this game, they're only half a game up, and they just lost the head-to-head battle last week to the Bengals. So they've already lost to the game in Cincinnati, and the Bengals are a half a game behind them with Joe Flacco, which goes to the point that Mike Tomlin was making when he was pissed off that the Bengals had acquired Joe Flacco, saying to the Browns, what the hell are you doing? Why are you giving our arch rival the one thing they need, which is a quarterback who's competent to throw the football down the field to these wide receivers that they've got? And they have that with Joe Flacco now until December when they get Joe Burrow back. So like, I get why he was pissed off, rightfully so. So it becomes a big game all of a sudden for these Steelers, and not just the Packers. And it's, you know, obviously all the history that goes on to love and Aaron Rodgers. Over or under on the game on Sunday night? Total's 45.5.
I like the over here. Yeah, I like the over. The Steelers defense. Like, the thing is, it's funny, but it's Pittsburgh. It's right. Aaron Rodgers is kind of holding up his end of the bargain, where like the offense is like moving the ball, but it's this defense for Pittsburgh that I think it's still like the name brand, where you're like, oh, they got TJ Watt. It's like, dude, it's more like TJ Washed, man. Like, like, come on, like, wow. Dude, the guy's not been good this year. Like,
I did not say that. I did not call him TJ Washed. Wow, how about that nickname?
I mean, he's not getting the job done. So yeah, I mean, the Steelers defense has been Swiss cheese. Like,
look out. Before we wrap, guys, one more reminder that you can score 6 months of BettingPros Premium for free. Just make a deposit and place your wager at a partner sportsbook. Premium gives you access to Sharp AI, our betting systems, the prop bet cheat sheet, and the same game parlay builder, all the tools you need to bet smarter. Claim your upgrade now at bettingpros.com/premium. All right, for your full card, including your prop for today, Andrew, where are you going?
Yep. So for me, I'm taking the Patriots -7 lane, the touchdown against the Browns at home, Buccaneers on the road against the Saints -3.5, and then the Dallas Cowboys +3.5 at the Denver Broncos give me the quarterback that's playing at the MVP level. In terms of some of the totals I like the Bills and Panthers to go over 46.5 points, Eagles and Giants to go under 44. And then for some of my player props, James Cook under 74.5 rushing yards. Carolina has been really sneaky good against running backs this year. Only one running back they have faced has gone for over 80 rushing yards, and that was all the way back in week 1. Quinshon Judkins going under 81.5 rushing and receiving yards. He's going to get a lot of volume, but the Patriots defense, second fewest rushing yards allowed per game. And when Judkins has played with Dylan Gabriel, he has 1 catch. So you're getting a much bigger number taking the total yards from scrimmage because he's not involved in the receiving game. And it's just a matter of, okay, is he going to get for 80 yards rushing? Well, only one running back has hit this number against the Patriots. It was Devon Achane in week 2. So I like the under on Judkins. J.K. Dobbins under 15.5 carries. Dobbins doesn't see the field if the Broncos are trailing. So if there's another game scenario where, okay, they're down in the fourth quarter, well, it's not going to be handoffs to J.K. Dobbins. And as bad as Dallas's defense has been this season, only 2 running backs have actually hit this number against them because they're mostly giving up a lot of explosive runs, but not necessarily a ton of volume to opposing running backs. And then because it is National Tight End Day, and this is how your game goes over here, Matt, between the Texans and 49ers, is if George Kittle just absolutely takes over this game on National Tight Ends Day. So that's how this game goes over the total. Kittle has been absolute monster in games following where he's basically been not involved whatsoever. So 6 games where he's had at least 1 or fewer catches in the following game since 2021. He's averaged over 100 receiving yards per game and over 1 receiving touchdown. So over 53.5 receiving yards for George Kittle, and George Kittle an anytime touchdown. I mean, this guy is like the founder of National Tight End Day, guys.
He is.
George Kittle is going to have if he's ever going to bounce back in a big way, it would be this week. Kyle Shanahan's going to reward him for all the blocking he did last week for McCaffrey. He's going to find the end zone. He's going to go over 53.5 receiving yards. So that would be my hard rock bet of the day. George Kittle. All day.
Very cool. For me, I am with you on the Cowboys. I'm taking the 3.5 on the Cowboys. I think this is a very difficult week to be laying points in the NFL. It was the same thing yesterday in college. This just feels like one of those weeks where the public gets wrecked by betting and laying numbers. Be careful with that. I think the Steelers on Sunday night +3, we went over that. I like the over for the 49ers and the Texans to go over 41.5. I think we see offense more than people think. I like Mac Jones, and I think this offense for the Texans should be able to move the ball on a banged up 49ers defense. I think that number is too low. Key totals of 42, 43, and 44. We're going under all those. My teaser bet of the week is Patriots -1, Eagles -1. 1.5, be careful, but I still think that should be good enough. Eagles win, Patriots win up against their matchups. They're both at home. And even though it's a divisional game for the Eagles, they've already lost to the Giants. I can't see them losing again to the Giants. So I like the Patriots, like Drake May. Gronkowski's doing interviews with Drake May on Fox today. This is tremendous to see the future and the past get together. And then player props. I think Jackson Dart has a tough time today. I think Jackson Dart's not going to run the football very much, and the Eagles are going to key in on him because he burned the Broncos last week. I think the Eagles say somebody else in the running attack has got to beat us under 41.5 yards rushing for Jackson Dart. And Breece Hall, who the hell else is going to get the football here for the Jets? I mean, it's Breece Hall over 89.5 rushing and receiving yards coming up here for today. On the way out, guys, if you're looking for long teasers in the early part of the schedule, there really isn't much. You can go and take the Eagles down to 1.5 and take the Bills down to 1 if you want. If you're looking that is there. The Patriots and the Eagles game actually has now become a long teaser. So it's Eagles, Pats -1 and Eagles -1. That's a long teaser. So you can play that. You can throw Buffalo in there if you want to do a 3-leg. I don't really like 3-leg parlays, but you can do a 3-leg teaser if you want on that with the Bills. I mean, Atlanta, you can pull Atlanta down. I got actually a lot of options here. You can take San Francisco from 2.5 up to +8.5. Do the Niners keep that game close or they get killed? Can they?
The Texans don't kill anybody unless there's 2 scenarios. They kill the Titans and the Ravens backup team. That's it.
Man, yeah, you can build a little bit of a crazy parlay today with a 4-leg Wong teaser. It all fits. So if it all falls into place here with the Wong teaser, you can do like a $10 bet to return like $40 if you guys go ahead and want to throw some craziness out there in the early slate. There's a lot of games. As I said, be really careful laying points today, guys. I mean, this is a weird day, and the books. This is the bleep you week from the books. They're making you pay all sorts of premium. The Patriots at 7, Eagles at 7.5, Bills at 7.5, Atlanta at 7. I mean, those are 4 games all kicking off in 20 minutes with a touchdown spread. Good luck. I mean, if this is a tight game, this is a tight day. you're going to get run over if you're betting favorites here today. So you got to be careful. Look at Brady FaceTiming Drake May and Gronkowski. Straight Patriot porn on Fox right now on the Fox pregame show. You can't get better than that to see Brady on FaceTime with Gronk and May on the field at Foxborough talking about Patriot football. Pat's big today. Let's go, because hopefully it's an easy walk. My friend and his son are at the game too, so I got vested interest there at Foxborough as well. Hopefully we see some W's come on in. He is Andrew Erickson. I'm Matt Perrault. We're back next week for week 9. Thank you for being here, guys. Thanks to Sal in the back. We keep rolling more. Stay with us on the Betting Pros YouTube channel.